So sorry about the interruption. Sincere apologies. Now we're back. We've tried it out and it worked. Sorry, apologies about that. So, back to what we were saying earlier. We are talking about, bear with me one moment. Okay, it's public. So, we're talking about Mental Health Awareness Week. Thank you very much for joining. Really, really sorry about that. I'm going to bring it went well. The video again, please. If you come back to join us. Hello, Grant.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. That's a big relief. Yes, I can
Oh,
hear you now.
hallelujah,
So much.
yes.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Thank you so much.
No,
So
thank you
I
for
have
the
said
invite,
so much
Lade.
about you. Oh, thank you for coming. So I said so much about you yesterday, about the work you've done on the front line. And of course, you know what we're doing today. It's about Mental Health Awareness Week. The
Mm,
theme for this year is on kindness. Kindness. And we said quite a lot yesterday. We had quite a lot of interaction yesterday with those who joined yesterday about their views about kindness. And one of the things that we kind of ended up saying was that all of us should go out and be intentionally kind today. So, what's your view about kindness?
what's my view
Well,
about
first and
kindness?
foremost, can you tell us
Kindness.
about you first?
Oh, you want to
Tell
know
us
a little bit
about
about
you
me?
first.
Well, you know me.
Yeah.
I've known Lade for about 5 years. We used to work together, and we made a great
Yes.
team in what we had to deal with. But
Yes.
now I'm a Catholic chaplain working in West London, and I currently sit with those people who are coming to the ends of their journeys on this earth and going back home to the Father. Um, I volunteered to do that because family members, unfortunately and sadly, cannot sit with their loved ones as they begin the journey home because of the risk of infection from COVID-19. And for me, it is a gift of love that I'm giving them, a lifetime of love. And now the Father has called them home, and somebody needs to be with them and accompany them as they start that journey. Um, I don't do much. I just hold their hand. I talk. I pray. I've been known to cry with them,
Oh,
um, because the tears that I shed are the tears that their family members would shed, so that somebody is there with them. And as they've breathed their last, I say a prayer over the body and commend them to God. And I sit with anybody, no matter what religion, whether they're of faith or not. And it's my way of giving back some of the love that they've given to their families, and they're not alone.
yeah. It's a really tough thing to do, isn't it?
It is tough, and I have to admit there have been times when I've been spiritually and emotionally drained, but I do it because I want to do it, because nobody should be alone on their last journey. And it's that final act of kindness which is the key word today. It's a gift of love, and I think acts of kindness are gifts of love that come from the heart. And one of your viewers said earlier that kindness hurts. It does. And I
Yes,
thought,
it does.
oh my God, that is such a profound statement. But
Very
kindness
profound.
does hurt,
Yes,
and especially
yes,
with what I'm doing, because I have to give that kindness and that love when somebody else can't do it, and it family members.
Yes, yes. We've lost over 30,000, close to 34,000 people now.
Yes.
And just mentioning it now, I'm very emotional about it because I know that these are people who didn't plan to go the way they've gone.
No,
There is a virus that is attacking this earth at the moment,
it is.
and hundreds of thousands have died. It's such a tough time. How possible do you think it is for people to be kind when they're battling for survival?
I think kindness is an act to express something that they feel is missing. We're very unique in this country. When something happens, we always seem to come together. Do you remember Grenfell? How the community came together,
Yes. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was love that brought everybody together.
Yeah.
With the COVID pandemic, it's love again. It's love for our neighbours. It's love for the stranger. It's love for the doctor, for the nurse, for the carer. It's love for humanity because humanity is being threatened by an invisible evil that is killing people, people who are vulnerable, people who are healthy. Okay. And if we don't show humanity love, we don't show our neighbours love, we don't show our families love, we won't survive. Love is the key ingredient here, and love is mercy and compassion. And compassion comes from the heart, whether you're a person of faith or not. And we are just being
Yeah.
compassionate to our fellow human beings. We are under threat. As you quite rightly said, thousands of people have died in this country.
Yeah.
We won't know the final figure, but I'm sure it's going to be about 50, 60,000. And we will live
Yeah.
with the effects of that for many, many years to come. But at the moment, we're coming together as a community, and a community based on love, common humanity, and compassion and kindness. Because Christ says, do unto others what you have done to me. And if we can show that, then the battle is half won.
How easy is it to show love? I know you referred to what one of the commentators said yesterday, and Mary, I'm going to be bringing her on later. Is it to show love when you're hurting?
It's difficult to
Especially
show
when
love.
somebody has been very, very unkind,
It's
somebody
di-
has been extremely unkind to you. How
yeah.
easy is it to show love?
For me, it's easy because I have my training as a nurse and as a priest. And yes, I've been hurt and I've been angry when somebody's been unkind to me. But your enemy is your greatest teacher because they will,
Whoa. Say that again, please.
your
Please say that
enemy,
again. We need to get
your enemy is your
your enemy.
greatest teacher
Whoa.
because,
Mm. Your enemy is your greatest teacher.
yeah,
Mm.
because you will learn patience, you will learn
Wow.
humility, and and
Wow.
and that's what I've tried to do throughout all of my life. If somebody's angry with me, and yes, I know people have been
Enemy is
angry
your
with me.
greatest teacher. Mm.
Yeah, your enemy
Wow.
is your greatest
Can
teacher, and you
somebody
can
please type
learn.
that? Can somebody please type that on, please? Your enemy is your greatest teacher. Can somebody please type that on? Because I would want to unpack that a little bit. And the reason being, oftentimes what happens to us as human beings is after a horrible experience, it's a natural reaction. We want to either fly, freeze,
Yes,
or just hide away.
yes,
And when a person has been hurt, because yes, we're talking about kindness, mental health awareness. So yesterday we talked about all the positives about kindness. We just want to look at the other side about kindness as well. when you've been hurt, when you've been stepped on, when people have violated your rights, when decisions have been taken that have been very unfair to you, how can you continue to be kind? Please, people who are online, please continue to put your comments there. We're going to talk. Remember, we said it's a combination of both. It's a combination of both open house. But we have Father Grant. He's actually a star. This man that you see on here, he's been featured on BBC several times. On which other newspaper? Was it Guardian newspaper?
Yeah, no, the Daily Mail.
The Daily Mail. Yes, he's
I'm
been
not
featured on the
socialist
Daily
enough
Mail.
to be in the Guardian.
And somebody actually said, I read your update yesterday. The lady who sat next to you on the train and said, are you the father with the mask?
Yeah, priest. I felt as if
Yes,
I
are
was
you the mask?
some sort of superhero, but I'm not. I'm just an ordinary person trying to do something that's extraordinary, um,
Absolutely,
and in the
absolutely.
most
And I
difficult
just,
of times.
yeah, it's a really difficult time, very, very difficult time. And it's a time where the picture I have in mind is a time where we need to bring out from our arsenal all those reservoir of the kind words that we've heard in the past and not just cover them up. Because there's kindness innately in the inside of all human beings. That's the way I
Yeah,
look at it. When you look at a child, for example, you see that innately they are kind,
they
but
are.
over time, experience teaches them to hoard, to cover things up, to lie.
Yeah.
But innately, children are kind. What goes wrong? When do we lose it? When do we lose that essence? And
I
how
don't, I
can
don't,
we get it back?
I don't think we lose it. I think we just bury it. And
Mm,
and, 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 and it sort of resurfaces when we're faced with a situation where we realize that kindness is still there, and we have to dig it up, polish it off,
mm,
give it a gleam, and then just offer it up. I don't think we lose kindness altogether. Um, it's just different experiences that we go through in life shows what type of kindness that we give. Now, for the Boy Scout, it's showing the old lady across the road or doing Bob
yeah,
a job. For the nurse, it's somebody who's ill. It's for the mother who's nursing their child. Okay, it's for the grandparent who's hugging their child, which I'm sure they desperately want to do at the moment, but they can't. And there are many, many different types of kindness, but kindness comes from the heart. Kindness radiates
kindness comes
from
from
the
the heart.
heart. Yes,
Mm,
and
mm.
I think essentially everybody has kindness in them, and they may not show it when a particular situation arises. And
Mm, mm.
yeah, it's difficult to be kind, but
It's not difficult to be
sometimes
kind.
some people do have their experiences have taught them not to show it that often.
I'll read this thing that I jotted down earlier. So kindness is defined as a quality of being friendly. So I know that yesterday we talked about having a smile, keeping a smile on your face. So kindness is defined as being friendly, being generous, being considerate. It's affection, it is gentleness, it is warmth, it's concern, and care are words that are associated with kindness. Kindness, however, though, has a connotation of weakness. What do you think?
I think kindness shows strength, it doesn't show weakness at all.
Really?
Yes.
So when a person keeps hurting you over and over again, and you keep forgiving, isn't what the society deems that person as being a sissy, or oh, she's too soft, or you need to be tough, you need to close doors on people and all of that.
Well, I remember I was called once Mr. Fluffy, because I was
I wanted
always
to hear that. Yeah, go ahead.
see the person now having a real go at me, and she says, "Stop being nice." But I can't stop being nice no matter how much somebody's hurt me. I remember 5 years ago, my brother died of drug overdose. He was a drug addict.
Oh, sorry about that.
And I was very angry, very, very angry. And, and I shouted at the police officer, and I used some unpriestly words, let's say.
Woo!
I know I'm fallible, but
Absolutely. We're all
but
human.
but I realized why I'm showing him my anger when my anger should be directed elsewhere, and I should turn my anger round, and I really should show compassion to the person who introduced my brother to drugs, because something must have
Hmm.
gone wrong in his life. Did he miss out on love? Did he miss out on somebody putting an arm around them saying, I love you? Did he miss out on good parenting? And I, well, obviously I had to apologize to the police officer. I had this vision I was going to spend the night in the cells, and I thought, how do I explain this to the bishop? Um,
Well, how did you get out of it eventually?
I,
I mean,
I
so how
apologized,
did you turn that round?
I just opened up my heart, and I thought, what would you do, Jesus? What would you do? And he always said, turn the other cheek.
Whoa.
And that is what I try to do. Okay, somebody can be angry, they call me everything under the sun. And if you remember, the we had the great big paedophile scandal with the Catholic
Yeah.
Church, and I've walked down the street, and I've been, and please forgive my language, and I was called a fucking paedophile simply because I wore the clerical collar.
Wow.
Okay, well, you know me, Lade. I'm not, but and somebody says, well, will you burn? You will burn in hell for what priests have done. And I said, I won't unless you pray for my soul. So I've turned it around.
Oh. Oh. So sometimes it's about turning things around and not allowing it to
Yeah,
encase us.
yeah. So that's why your enemy can be your greatest teacher, because he teaches you humility.
Mm,
And by being humble,
mm.
you become compassionate, and the compassion radiates. And from the
Yes,
compassion
compassion radiates. Can somebody write that down for us as well, please? Compassion radiates.
radiates. Yeah.
Teacher. Yeah. Your enemy can be your greatest teacher. That's a really good one. Can you
Yeah.
tell us about an act of kindness that you have received before, or the one that you've done?
Do you know
Because
what the greatest act of kindness somebody can do for me? And it is the
I
most,
I know
it
what
is,
you're going to say.
it is the silliest thing, is when I'm tired, make me a cup of tea.
You are joking.
I'm not.
Then I'll be your
And
best friend.
oh, God love you. No, and to me, if you see I'm tired, just bring me a cup of tea. I'll have a couple of sips of the tea, and I become alive
Wow.
again, because it's that
Wow. A cup of
it's
tea
the
will do that.
simplest act of kindness, just making
Mm.
somebody a cup of tea. And I always say the world feels
Oh,
better once you've had a cup of tea or a full belly.
no, I know the feeling. I know the feeling when you put the kettle on and then you
Oh
have your
yeah, a
first sip.
real
It's like, it's magic.
yeah. I think tea does run in my veins.
Okay, so I know the secret now. Next time, I'll be your best friend. I'll be your
Oh,
best
God love you.
friend. So that is you receiving an act of kindness. Can you remember the act of kindness that you have that you have done before. Like somebody shared a really nice story yesterday that really resonated to me, and I'm happy to share it again. So she said that when the pandemic started, she thought, oh gosh, where she lives is quite far off, far away from the town. And so she thought she would put a note in her neighbors' doors, in their house, in their doors, and say to them, can we start a WhatsApp group just to look out for each other now that there's a lockdown?
Yeah.
And unexpectedly, everybody said, yes, 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 let's do it, let's do it. And guess what happened after she set up the WhatsApp group? Guess who was the first person that needed help? She. One day she went out of the house, wanted to start her car, and the car refused to start. And then she now thought, woo, that's the WhatsApp group. So she goes there and she's like, can somebody help me? My car isn't starting. And somebody said, oh, hold on, I'll be done in a jiffy. So she thought she was doing an act of kindness to other people, but eventually she was the one that received kindness back in return. So what's the greatest act? Or, well, I won't say greatest, but can you remember any of the acts of kindness that you think you've done, that you think resonates deeply with you? You're trying to be humble now.
I think it's just checking in on somebody. Are you okay?
Checking on somebody.
Yeah. And
I
it's not
can
just
tell
about
you
bringing the
one.
tea or helping with the car, but it's just saying, are you okay? Are you all
Are you
right?
okay? And that goes a
And
long
I
way.
and my heart leaps for joy when I do that, because I see that person, I see them hurting, even if it's on a WhatsApp message or Messenger. Um, it's just saying, okay, I
Mm,
can't be with you because of this situation that we're in at the moment, but it's just, I'm here if you need me. And there are several
absolutely.
people I just check in every few days. Actually, I'm just
Mm.
reminded I need to check in with somebody tomorrow. Um,
You need to be checking on me now.
bec- it's just that saying, okay, and don't worry if you're not
Yeah,
okay. I'm here for you.
yeah,
Yeah, and sometimes a 5 minute
absolutely.
conversation can save a life.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That is really true.
and that is the basic.
One last word. Yeah, go ahead,
That's
please.
just basic kindness. We all have that,
Basic kindness. Yeah, we all
but
have
there's
that.
nothing basic about
And one,
kindness. Kindness is compassion. I like to use the word compassion because for me as a
mm,
priest, Christ was compassionate, and in the Catholic Church, we are the representative of Christ on earth.
mm,
So when somebody suffers, I will suffer with them, so their pain is shared
yeah,
as an act of compassion.
yeah. So, one last word for those who are watching about kindness. It is Mental Health Awareness Week, and the theme is kindness. What's the word you want to say to people about kindness?
Do you know, I heard a song at the weekend. I was watching Eurovision. I'm a Eurovision fan, I admit it. I will go to confession. I will go to confession. I like Eurovision. Uh, Kindness, as we know, is an act of love. And there was a song that was sung by all of the participants in Eurovision, Love, Shine a Light.
Help shine the light. Okay.
Yes,
Mm,
because by
okay.
showing an act of kindness, we're showing an act of love, and we can the darkness that some people are experiencing, especially with their mental health. When somebody's very alone, very afraid.
I was going to actually link to that mental health, people's mental health, because the whole essence of talking about kindness is linking it to people's mental health, how kindness can actually impact our mental health. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Grant. Father Grant, thank you so much.
You're
The
welcome.
master, the master priest. Thank you so much. And for me, you're an
You take care.
embodiment of kindness because, like you said, you volunteer to go right on the front line in those COVID positive wards, and you're holding the hands of people who are passing on. Where every other person is running away, people have been told to stay at home, lockdown, and all of that. You are there. Thank you for what you're doing, and for all the
You're
other
welcome. I'm,
frontline
I'm, I'm
warriors.
just bringing their love their family would bring them. That's all.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you for all you
God
do.
bless you.
Thank you. Amen. Thank you, Father Grant.
You're
Okie doke.
welcome.
Thank you. So I said I was going to bring on um, Mary. I hope you're still on because Mary, you up on Mary. Mary, if you're watching, or if, like I said, it's an open house. We have some few more minutes to still talk about what kindness is. So, what does kindness mean to you? So, I'm just going to quickly read some of the things people have written here. So, oh, yes, Gal says even an ogre has kindness in his heart. That's the truth because kindness is innate in us. But over time, because of situations in life, we kind of allow it to be buried down. We allow things to kind of cover it up. But I'm glad that this week, Mental Health Foundation is opening all our eyes to say, listen, let us think about kindness. Yes, thank you, Pastor Fumi Esema, for writing this. An ordinary person doing an extraordinary thing. And that is what we all should be aiming for, to do extraordinary things for people around us. We are ordinary. But you know what? We become extraordinary when we take the extra step. Situations can dictate our kind, which is true, very, very true. We don't lose the kindness, we just bury it, very true. We need to be intentional about kindness. Kindness comes from the heart. Kindness radiates. Kindness comes from the heart, it radiates. Absolutely true. Okay, there's some people I would like to bring on the camera. And I'm waiting. If you'd like to join me, please let me know. More than happy. Dr. Yesterday, I want to bring you on. What's your views about kindness? I'm adding you now. You can just do audio if you don't want us to see your face, but perhaps you're not switched up yet. But what's your view on kindness? If anybody wants to join, let me know. More than happy. Let's just talk. It's an open mic session now. Would like to hear people's views about kindness. What's your view about kindness? What do you think kindness is? How can we show kindness? And Mary said something yesterday that I'd like us to still discuss about. Kindness hurts. Kindness hurts, doesn't it? It really does hurt. Especially when you're showing kindness to somebody who is not reciprocating or somebody who is throwing it back at your face. Kindness can really, really hurt. And we have another father. We have another father in the house, Father Bumi Fagbemi, and he's saying kindness is strength. Absolutely. Contrary to what a lot of people think, contrary to what people say out there in the community, kindness is not weakness. We need to understand and recognize that kindness is strength. Kindness is strength. Absolute strength. Kindness shows strength. It does be kind. You have to be intentional about being kind, irrespective of whatever you're going through. It becomes a habit, absolutely. You know, once you've done it once, you've done it twice, it becomes a habit. You just see yourself wanting to be kind to people because you just leave it. You just leave it. I mean, as in you just leave kindness. Who else is going to join? Okay, Father Bumi is saying habituation is strength. Habitual kindness is there for strength. Absolutely. Habitual strength, habitual kindness is strength. It is a virtue. It is a virtue. It is strength. So I'm looking for Mary now. Mary, where are you? Mary, can you send an invite? Can you send an invite, Mary? I'm not able to take your call. I know you tried to call me now. I can't take your call. I'm live on. So can you please send a request to be added on? There's a request. If you click on the request, I'll just add you on. If anybody wants to come on, like I said as well, please just send a request and I'll add you on. And just to say, village hall meeting, isn't that what they call it? Let's have a village hall meeting where everybody comes together and we all talk about it. Let's all talk about kindness. Let's all talk about that word that appears like it's out of our dictionary. A lot of us have become so insular. All we're thinking about is me, myself, and I, my family, my children, my wife, my husband, my partner. If it is not within this enclave, I don't want to know. Why? We should care. Policymakers, managers especially, managers have a duty to actually go out and take care of their staff. Over time you take on a role, because they are people first and foremost, not just the target, not just the task. For those who are managers in the house, can I ask that we use this week to actually think about our processes at work and the things that we're doing? Mary, can you please ask to be added? And Gaius is saying, for me, it will be helping someone in need without expecting anything in return. Thank you. What we find out sometimes, for those who get hurt by feelings, Mary, I won't be able to respond to the messages you're sending. If you please, there should be an invite. Maybe you should log out and log back in. It would ask you if you want to be added, and then I'll just add you on. There's a request button down that would ask if you want to be added. Unfortunately, I don't know why it's not allowing me to add you. Okay, bear with me one moment. I'm just going to see if this would work. Mary Stretch, invite. Okie doke. I have invited you now, Mary. Done. Okay, I hope I will be able to get you on. So Gaius said that kindness is doing a good and not expecting anything in return. What happens to a lot of us when we feel hurt? When we show kindness to people and it's not returned back to us, is because we're expecting something back in return. That's the truth. It's because you expected that this person I showed kindness to should know better. This person should not have treated me this way, should not have spoken this way to me, that they should know better. Henry says, your check-ins with me have always come at times when they were much needed. Oh, thank you. Listening to someone's story is an act of kindness, and that's one of the things that we need to do. Listening to people's story. Sometimes, especially for those who are grieving and those who are mourning, sometimes it's just your silence and just listening to them without being judgmental. One of the things that Ola said yesterday when we spoke was she talked about her experience into Christianity and how people were judgmental. A lot of religious folks, and I use that word religious folks, we can be very, very judgmental. We can actually look at people with our religious goggle, and can we for once just drop that Google off and not be judgmental? You are not God, and we can never be God. Everybody goes through their various experiences, and we need to appreciate people's journey. Their journey may not be my journey, may not be your journey, but we just need to respect that. We need to respect their journey and just leave them as they are. That's the truth, and just support them. You may not agree with what they're doing. Yes, you may not agree with what they're doing, but you know what? You can just be there, just the listening ear. And we're going to talk tomorrow. So we have two people who will be talking tomorrow. We have Nikki Thomas. She is one of the brand ambassadors for news, and she's going to have a session. She's an approved mental health practitioner. That's an AMP. They call them AMP. And she's going to be talking about the link between kindness and mental well-being. She'll be talking about that tomorrow. So Gail says, love helps to shine the light. Absolutely. So says Father Grant. Kindness is spreading sunshine into other people's lives, regardless of the weather. I love that. It is just you smiling even in your pain. That is what kindness is. Yeah, I can bring now. Mary, can you accept that, please? Can you accept? I've just invited you. I've just added you on now, Mary. Yeah, I hope I can get you. Thank you, Father Grant, for all you do for humanity. Absolutely. For all he does. Other people are running away, covering their nose, running away from the front line, and he little bed, holding the hands of people who are dying alone where their loved ones can't be there. And that for me is kindness of the highest order. the several doctors and nurses who have died, knowing fully well that they don't have the PPEs, they don't have everything, and they're still out there because they're thinking of their patients. Those to me are the heroes. Those who know that they're going out in the front line, those to me are the heroes. And we just like to say thank you. If you're watching, can you just give a hand clap, just a clap to every hero who's been out there, staying on the front line, on the war front. This is a war that we're not fighting with ballistic missiles. This is us and the nurses, the doctors, the delivery men, the bus drivers, the train drivers, the people, the utility work, those who work in the utility companies. We still have our electricity, we still have our waters running, we still have our internet, even though it's overloaded. We still have all of that. People are still going out. And we just like to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of us. I'm a frontline worker as well. Thank you to all who have kept the services on. Thank you. Mary, I need to hear you. And I'm sending now I can add you, and I've sent the invite. If you just accept that invite, and then you can come up. Thank you so much. Yay!
Hi.
Eventually.
Right, I'm going to take over now. I'm going
Okay. It's not sounding very well. It's not sounding very well again. This is exactly what happened when Grant was on. Do you have an earpiece that you can use? Do you have an earpiece? Yeah, if you can use an earpiece, because I thought that the earpiece was better. I think the earpiece is the better audio. Whilst Mary is getting her earpiece on, I'm reading what Gail's written here. Thank you so much, Gail, for this very good contribution.
Is that better?
Absolutely. Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm going to
Go on, we can hear you now. We can hear you very clearly. Yes.
try and take over now because I I have very strong views about kindness.
Okay.
Like Father, I find it very easy to be kind. Yeah.
Okay.
I watched the film Pay It Forward over 20 years ago.
Mm.
And I thought that it was the most fantastic film. And ever since I've done it, ever since I watched it, I thought I must just try and do as many random acts of kindness as I possibly can every day. And I would say to you that if you start practicing kindness, just try one. It's a snowball. It grows and it grows and it becomes easier and easier until it's the way you live your life. So every night I go to bed and I think, how many did I do today? And I count them.
Wow.
I usually get, with nice things, to about 33. It's so simple. Right?
Wow.
And I've had great acts of kindness done to me. The biggest one was when I was a single mum and I needed to set up my own business, and suddenly a client gave me £10,000 deal. But I didn't have artwork, I didn't have invoices, I didn't have a logo, I didn't have anything. And I went to a friend who ran a design company and I said, oh, I need, and it was with Disney. So it was a huge client. And she said, have you got a logo? And I said, no. Have you got anything? I said, no. She said, well, my designers will have that ready for you in 3 days' time.
Wow.
And my business has now been running for 30 act of kindness that she did.
Wow.
And every day I thank her for caring about me. Yeah. So you can make a massive, massive, massive impact from doing kindness for people. And Another thing that helps you did touch on, if you've been hurt, yes?
Yeah.
How do you manage to be kind? Well, that's the
Yes.
best time. And I want to read you this that I actually posted on Facebook on the 15th of May.
Okay.
One of the truest things, I think, the most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known
Yes.
struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These people have an appreciation, a sensitivity, an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, with gentleness, and a deep, loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen. And that was written by a psychiatrist and an author called Elizabeth Kubler. And I absolutely agree, because I have suffered a huge amount in my life, and that makes me more inclined to help other people who are suffering. So I always find myself surrounded by old people. I actually work with cool brands, and I want to be surrounded by young people, but I'm not. So I've checked in with 3 old people today. One I checked in with yesterday, and she wasn't in her care home. I checked in with her godson today, and he told me she was in hospital. So I rang the hospital and I did a video link with her. She actually wasn't lucid. She thought she was in the BBC, because that's where she used to work, where I used to work. But she was incredibly pleased to hear from me. But I checked in on another lady who's actually been admitted to mental hospital. And I checked in with a very old man who is really happy to see me and has just been to the cemetery to visit the grave of his wife. And, you know, we people can do this. We can change people's lives. To me, kindness is a catalyst for change, for transformation of
Kindness is a
yourself
catalyst
and
for
of
change.
other
Wow.
people's lives. Yeah? It means putting oneself and one's concerns second. You only have to do it for a heartbeat. You might only be on the phone for 2 or 3 minutes. What is
Yeah.
that to you? It's nothing. In 24 hours, to be on the phone to somebody for 10 minutes, or to look at them. You mustn't do the things that you think you would be right. You need to look at their needs. Yes? My daughter loves gifts. I don't value gifts at all. Don't take me seriously, but I don't value them that much. But she loves gifts. So it's my job to think, how can I please her? What floats her boat? And if that is buying her hot cross buns, then go and buy her hot cross buns. If she likes Moomin things, buy her Moomin things. Don't plonk on her what I think she needs. And that's equally, if somebody's suffering, listening, or just being there, or just saying, I want to stand with you in this. Yes. That is the way to be kind, to give them what they themselves need. So it requires some discernment.
I just want to mention something about that, because sometimes acts of kindness may be misunderstood, and you've just made a very important point, that when we are kind, we sometimes are being kind from our own perspective. And this is something that I think actually brings a balance to what kindness is. Kindness has to be looking into that person's life and looking at what they need, not what you think they need. Because,
Yes,
for example,
but what I want to say to you is, can I just interrupt and say, my motto in life is that no loving action is ever wasted. Never. That is what I feel. I think I've been listening to this live stream for 2 days now, and at some points in it's quite brutal, where you say, people have been saying, oh yes, but what do I get back? Or if you've been really hurt, how do you do it? Seriously, that is not a good jumping off point. Your suffering is, you've just got to let that go and step out. with an act of faith towards somebody else who is suffering right now, right this minute, or who needs help, support, a gentleness, a tenderness right now. So, and I can promise you that if you can do that, you will build yourself up and you will build them up and you will heal your pain. And I run a charity, as you know, that takes people to Calais to look after the refugees there. We're not able to go. I take 50 at a time. But I can tell you that about at least 6 of those people have called me today, but even though we haven't been for 5 months to Calais, because they're alive with love. They'd never done anything like that before they heard about my charity. But now they're alive with love, and we're a family, and they're calling. A woman called me at 7 o'clock today and said, I've got a heart condition, as you know, Mary, but as soon as we can get back to Calais, I'd be happy to lead a group of 50. She's a really senior person in business.
There's something you just said that is resonating. 1 minute. Well, sorry to cut you, Mary. There's something you just said now that resonates, and I'd like us to just talk a little bit more on that. Kindness is a seed. Kindness is something that when you sow, it either germinates from the person you've sown it into, or you pick it up from somewhere else. So we should never stop sowing. We should never stop sowing, because kindness is a seed.
It is. And I think with relation to mental health, I think it's really important, because I once did a course that you know about mental health, and I was asked to make a list of all the words that we use to describe people that are mad. And so a group of us made this list, and we had like 100 words: bonkers, crazy, off their trolley, loony, blah, blah, blah. And then we had to make a list of nice words for people who are suffering from mental illness. And then we could only think of about 6, yes, which taught us all a lesson that we have to develop ways of talking to people who are low, who are depressed, without putting them down. This takes some discernment and some effort and some kindness and some love. But I know, because I've been in a mental hospital, that actually, whether or not, it doesn't matter whether that person is trained or a nurse or a doctor or a psychiatrist, just having somebody say to me, and many people did, Mary, you're a brilliant mum. You're a really nice person. I don't know how you can run your business from the canteen, which is what I did while I was in there, yeah? I felt $1 million. And through my hazy fog,
you feel like you could conquer the sky. You feel like, the world is just there. You could float. I
felt valued. Kindness gives people a value when they are so low and so depressed. It says you are worth it. You are worth this kindness. You are worth this love. I see you as a valuable human being. I may not even know you. Somebody gave me a sandwich on the tube about in January. I was starving. I mean, I've got plenty of money, but I saw he had a Snickers bar as the sandwich, and I was starving. I said, well, give me that sandwich. And he said, right. And he handed it to me, and he said, would you like a Snickers bar as well? I said, you are a darling. Snickers bars are my favorite thing. And then he handed me a holy picture of Jesus, and I said, don't worry, I've actually got one. And I held it up, and he said,
I need to tell you this story.
I knew you were a Christian.
Hold on, Mary.
But,
I need to tell you
he gave me his lunch. He gave me his lunch. Yes.
Really, he did. I need to tell you this story. This is actually, it's not a joke. This is true life. So I had this friend that lived in America and just moved over to UK. And you know how Americans are like, friendly. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. So he walks on the high street. He felt like eating banana. Those fruit of those bowls of banana where they sell like about 6 or 7 for a pound. So he buys one, and he didn't need more than 2 of the bananas. So he thought to himself, I'm going to be kind. I'll give it to someone when I get onto the train. And this is where we talk about act of kindness sometimes being misunderstood. So he gets onto the train, gets onto the tube, typical rush hour, London, underground, and he sits down, and then he goes, "Hey, anybody wants banana?" Do you know what the
And you
reaction
remember
was?
it.
Do you know what the reaction
You
was?
remember it.
People got up immediately and they left the tube. They left that carriage. They left. They thought this guy must be a loony. This guy must be mad for him to ask if he wants bananas, because it's an unusual thing. And even though it sounded very funny, even though I'm laughing saying it now, but it shows something about human nature. When people have been denied of kindness, when they have not experienced kindness for a long time, and somebody shows them kindness, there is a likelihood that they would misunderstand what that action is about. Don't you think
They
so?
might, but I honestly, I have found that it's very hard to mistake kindness if it's done with that as a gratuitous act. It's very, very hard to mistake it. And you do have to be brave. Kindness takes courage. It does hurt. You have to choose not to be angry, not to be cynical, not to be apathetic, not to turn away. And you have not to mind what the reaction is, but you have to feel that the act is worth it, that it's required, that it's needed. And you can just say, look, I don't know whether you want this, but can I help? Just if you're gentle
Yeah,
about it, it's
yeah,
very, very hard for a human being to
yeah,
shove you in the other direction.
yeah.
Truly, I don't feel I have ever had an act of kindness rejected. Maybe among neighbours, I'm looking around me now, but they are, but, but maybe they're a bit grumpy or they're a bit old or whatever. But what does that matter? It's about what it's saying about you, what you've got in you. That
Somebody just
is
asked a question
what
now. Somebody just
matters.
asked a
Yes.
question. I'd
Now
like us to
I'm
talk
going to
about it.
leave you because I have got to go and have some lunch.
One last,
Mwah.
one last question. One last question. Can kindness be cultural?
Can kindness?
Be cultural. Can it be cultural?
Yes, and that's why I'm only half Nigerian, and I could talk for this about this a long time. Kindness is something that is rooted into um, uh, I've got to be careful. Yeah, yeah, I understand. It's rooted into European culture. Uh, I'm a linguist, so it's rooted into something called fin amour, and it's a way of behaving. It's a way of manners. It's a way of cherishing people. There's thousands and thousands of books written in French and Spanish and Italian about how to do that. That doesn't take away from basic human nature, but you've got like a Bible of how you should behave. Whereas in other places in the world, yes, it's it's innate kindness. There may not be. Life can be brutal in other places. That is for another topic.
Another
Um,
topic. Yeah.
I it's a conversation opener. But for me, the best book on how to be kind is the Bible, and that's
Absolutely.
available to all of us.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Let me leave you to go have your
Bye.
dinner
God
now.
bless everybody.
Love you. Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. And that is Mary Stretch. Thanks for that. Okay, I don't want to talk off all the topic because we still have tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have Nikki Thomas, who is an approved between kindness and mental health. So tomorrow we're going to go quite clinical, very, very clinical. The link between mental health and kindness. Is there a link? We'll be talking about it. But today it's been fantastic having Father Grant on. Is there anybody watching who wants to give a shout out? You want to give us your opinion about what kindness is? It's Mental Health Awareness Week. We have open house session, open mic session. If you want to say anything, please come on. So who wants to go? Gaius, can I put you on the spot and add you? Let's see if you would join. You don't need to add, but then let's hear your voice. Because you've written quite a lot about kindness. Yes, you have. And thank you so much for the useful contributions that you have put together. We're actually going to put all of these things together. We will. And just to get to hear from people, what do they think kindness is? What's kindness? Why is kindness so rare these days? I mean, why is it rare? Why do people get scared of showing kindness? I gave the joke, well, it's not exactly a joke. I gave the experience of what had happened to my friend that got on the train, asked people, he had extra banana, and he felt, you know what, it's okay. Let me ask people, do you want banana? And everybody looked at him. They got so scared, and they got so scared, and they all ran off. Okay, Dollar wants to come on. Thank you, Dollar. How do I add you now? Dollar, you know what you're going to do for me? Okay, let me see. Yay! Yay! I'm adding you now. You have to come on. I'm adding you, so don't disappoint me, Dollar. So you get scared whilst Dollar is coming on. Yay! Hello. Hey,
Hi
my
everyone, can
darling.
you hear me?
Very
hear me?
clear. I think there's something with the earpiece. It's better with earpiece. Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you
What's
hear me at
kindness
all?
to you? We can hear you very clearly.
Oh, okay. Oh, good evening, everyone. Good evening, my big sister.
Hey, sweetie. What's
Well,
kindness to you?
yes. I just wanted to share something. Through this lockdown, what we've been having is a church at home. So that includes myself, my
Yeah, I'll
husband,
invite Pagan guy up.
and
Be
my
still.
children, and my niece who's quarantining with me. And coincidentally, on Sunday, I was the one leading my home church, because we're taking in turn, so the children, everyone. And so the topic of this past Sunday was the fruit of the Spirit, or the Holy Spirit. And hi, Sister Ike, my big sister from South Africa. And so what we tend to do to make it quite engaging and quite interesting, studying the scripture and the Bible, for especially for my teenagers. We all know how struggle these teenagers can get, and it can be quite tough to engage them. So one of the things we did was to do quiz, like just write 10 things about the Holy Spirit, and then also for us to study what really it is to what the fruit of the Spirit is. And as we all know, there are 9 fruits of the Spirit according to scriptures. And one of them is kindness. It is, and I'm coming at it from the spiritual point, because to be quite honest, the true kindness that we should have should be the kindness that is a fruit of the Spirit. And as the previous lady said, for you to really know the true meaning of kindness, you have to understand it from the Bible, from the week upon. And that's why I said I like to share, because on Sunday, I got to see and hear from the children, like you get perspectives from all around, so that everything is balanced. And you actually think about what is actually the fruit of the Spirit. And then it takes us down to, what is a fruit? A fruit is a product of a tree. And what is a tree? A tree is a product of a seed. And what is a seed? A seed is a product of a fruit. And again, so it goes round and round and round like that. And you find out that there is no kindness except it comes from a tree. So if kindness is a fruit of the Spirit, it means it is a fruit of the Spirit of God, who is a tree from a seed, Jesus. I don't know if I.
Wow, but I have a slight difference opinion in what you say. Because if you go back to what we had said earlier, that kindness is innate in
Sorry, I
all of
wasn't.
us.
I couldn't join
Okay, you
earlier because I
didn't
was
join
in a
earlier.
webinar
Okay.
somewhere,
Yeah,
and I joined
kindness
quite
is
late.
innate in every human being. So whether a Christian, I understand the Christian perspective, but
No, I was
irrespective
just
of,
sharing from that Christian perspective. So I'm not
yes,
sharing
that's
from the
really
cultural
important.
kindness or from the
Yes,
general kindness. I'm just sharing
yes.
because it was just interesting to see that what we were talking about on Sunday from that
Yes.
angle of it being
Okay.
fruit of the
It's
spirit,
the theme
which is what I'm
for,
talking about. Just that, that's why I
yes,
said the lady talked about it from the biblical aspect. That's why I wanted to share
yes, yes,
um,
yes,
what
yes.
we talked about.
One
And
thing
it's
I
very
will
interesting.
say is that I mentioned something earlier, that it is difficult to be kind. Kindness is not as easy as people think, especially when you've been through various experiences from people, shut up. They build a world around themselves. If they think,
Absolutely.
I've been kind, I've been kind, I've been kind. And that is where the spiritual beat as a Christian comes in. But generally, kindness is innate in all of us. And what happens, and that is what Father Grant, if you watched, we probably can watch the replay later. What Father Grant said is that a lot of us will bury it, but it is there. So we've allowed life's experiences, various issues, we've allowed them to bury we've allowed that to bury kindness in us, but it is there. All we need to do is to go back to the source and bring it out. And that is saying, but
Yes.
we all
And
have
and I
kindness. It
think
is
you
innate in
just
all of
mentioned it,
us.
sis, from saying going back to the source again, fruit,
Yes, when you're
tree, seed,
struggling, when you're struggling.
fruit,
But I do know
seed.
that there
Yeah.
are people who are not Christians who are very kind. There are people who are not Muslims who are very kind. There are people who have no religion who are very kind. So it's about recognizing that
So their
kindness we
kindness
need to show
again.
to
Just
everyone.
asking again, just asking a question. So when people are kind, some kindness, don't you think some are the motivation is suspicious?
I wish you had joined earlier, because one of the questions I'd asked Mary and also Father Grant, you need to watch this video again, is sometimes when people show kindness that is unexpected or that the person isn't asking for, it may be thrown back because people may just think, why are you showing me kindness? And I gave an example. Remember, I gave an example. I don't know
Yeah,
whether you
yeah,
heard
I heard that
when I
example.
talked about my friend who offered a banana on a London underground, offering people, saying, hey, buddies, anyone want banana? Everybody got up from the carriage. They got up at the next station and they entered the next carriage because they were
So
suspicious.
does that
How
mean
could
then that that kindness can be relative? So what you consider to be kindness could be not so much
absolutely,
kindness to somebody else.
absolutely, you're very right, because that is where we're going to the philosophy beat. And the philosophy beat, we probably will talk about that on Thursday. But today is just generally talking about
Yes.
kindness. And it's so nice that you brought this spiritual side in. It's very nice hearing from Mary. Mary was very spot on. I want to bring thanks for coming in. I loved
I
I
just want
loved
to
your
say
view.
something quickly about the cultural kindness, and that it is very, very it's very funny because I do believe that kindness can be very cultural, and the reason is that
Yeah.
let me just share this example. I go to a predominantly um, English church, and we do obviously we do our services online now. And this gentleman kept complaining that nobody cared for him, nobody's been coming to look after him. So he was complaining really that nobody is being kind to him. And so I reached out to him privately and actually thought out a really fantastic plan that I thought, obviously I've been related with him for over 19 years. That I felt that this would be some way to be kind towards this person who was complaining about people not being kind to him. He came back
Okay,
to
we've
bite
lost
me
you.
that I didn't even know. So I think sometimes, how can you be kind to people? You've got to find, because people receive kindness differently. So what you might consider to be kind to you will be different from you. So I think in that way, and I think it was more of a cultural thing. It was nice talking to you, and yeah.
Thank you.
How do I
Thank you.
get myself off then?
Oh, thank you. Okay, no, don't worry, I'll take you off. Okay, the last person I'm going to bring on now is Chaos. Chaos. Sorry for keeping you waiting, but it's good to hear everybody's perspective about kindness. This is a village hall meeting. So we've spoken to the main people today, but then, Temidala has just come on to tell us, given the spirit aspect about kindness being a seed. Hello! See me calling your husband's name. I thought it was your husband. Hello, sweetie.
Don't judge me, oh. I look like a witch. You know
It
that
doesn't
I
matter.
have a
We'll be kind to
reputation to
you.
maintain.
We will be kind to you. Don't worry. We'll see you with the eyes of kindness. We'll see you with the eyes
How
of
are
kindness.
you?
Good to see you, babes. Good to see you.
Good to see
How
you
have you
too. Good to
been?
see you too. I'm alive, I'm good and well. I bless God.
Thank
Yes.
God. Thank God. Tell us, what is
Yes,
kindness
this
to
is
you?
very, this is just something that I am really passionate about. So I've just stayed on and just listened to these wonderful people sharing their thoughts on here too. Well, to answer your question, to me, kindness is the practical act of love. It's when you give without, again, like I've said so many times here, when you give without expecting anything in return. And these days, people tend to do things because there's something out there for them, as well. But when you genuinely are giving from your heart, you give without even looking back, without
Yeah,
expecting anything in return, and you go
yeah.
all the very way. And that's what
Mm.
I would say being kind has
Practical
taken me to
kindness.
places.
Yes, I was just going to say that you're an
Sorry?
apostle of practical kindness. And I was just going to say that you are an apostle. You know, an apostle means a sent one, somebody who goes out to do things. I said you are an apostle of kindness.
Yeah,
Tell us about that. What drives you?
I get you. Yes, thank you. Oh, to me, it's just to see that smile on your face. It's the fact that you can be an ordinary person and yet still make the extraordinary happen for people who are also just normal, ordinary people as well. For me, it's to see that I can breathe life back into people. It's that I can also pay forward what it is that I've invented. And I know that, like if we've said here, it's a seed. And when you plant it, it comes back to you in ways that you don't even expect. So when I'm planting these seeds and people see how God is blessing me, they don't even understand. And even me, I can't even comprehend. That is because I have been kind, effortlessly kind to this person. And God has returned it to me, or my family member, in ways that I can't even imagine. Now, I'll give you an example. When I'm going to open Grant, those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessa Baseki. I'm the founder of Grant is Smile. When I left the UK and decided, you know what, I want to branch out, I want to go to a place that people don't go to. Mema is 19 hours away from the UK on a good day, right? And it's really, really far. It's at the other side of the world. And they call the forgotten people to go there. But I went there just so I can set up a branch of Grant is Smile and extend what it is that we do. And when I got there, I didn't know anybody. I went with faith. And I went there knowing that, if I can just get there, God that has sent me will open the doors. I went there, I didn't have a brother, nobody. And believe you me, because of the kindness that follows me, or will I say the the fact that God has called me to be an apostle, like you said, the
You're an
doors were
apostle
opening
of kindness.
beyond,
Yes.
yeah, beyond what I could ever imagine. I remember one day I was in the slum when I decided to go to the slum. This I can't begin to tell you how horrible this place is. I really, really cried. I went away from the team and I just cried because it was so shocking what I saw. And I said to God, I said, why do we have so much in this world, and yet so many people are suffering, you
Suffering.
know. And I said, if only one person can be kind and other people join this one person that decides to be
Yeah.
kind, we will make so much
Yeah.
difference in our world. And I decided that day I'm just going to swallow my pride, I'm swallow my shame. I'm not the best orator in the world, and I'm just going to be kind and do something about what it is that I saw. And
What drove you to go to that end of the world? Why did you pick Mema?
I have no idea. I've never heard of Myanmar in my entire life. Like, I didn't even know that country existed. But somehow I was on the internet one day, and a little advert came up, and it was by UNICEF. It was a UNICEF advert, and it came out, and it was talking about the people of Myanmar and what they've gone through and things like that. And I thought, wow, I want to go there. You know, I want to go there. I want to this ad.
A
Uh,
country you did not know anybody, nobody invited you to
I
come there,
no
nothing.
no
You just
no
went.
no. I just went. I want to go
Wow,
there, and
that's a big
before I
wow.
went, before I actually went, I thought, I don't have any money. I don't know where I'm going, so let me see if I can get a job. And I started looking for a job. As you know, I'm a teacher. That's my background, and I had
Yeah.
quit teaching to set up Grand Smile in 2017. And so decided that I will basically maybe get a job so that at least I can get some money to do what it is that God is calling me to do. And so I got a job, and this job blew my mind. It's the job that I didn't expect. It was an expert teaching job to be head of department of English in the British International School. And because it's an expert package, I got my free expect. I put it that way. So an expert package, for example, it's one child, and I gave two of my
Wow.
children scholarship for absolutely free. Isn't that the kindness being paid back to me?
Wow.
Absolutely yes.
You were
I had
giving
a
out
full
and
time nanny
eventually
that
you got
I had a
back.
full time nanny. Yes, absolutely. So when I thought I was there going to grant people's smile, God was granting my smile in ways that I could never expect. How the job came about, I don't even know. People who knew me, they knew I was leaving the country in like a week. It just came, and I took it, and I wasn't afraid. I just took it. And it became like the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm not even going to lie. It became the best thing that ever happened to me. So even though I was going there to help the vulnerable people, God was just, he was just ticking all the boxes in my life. Let me just put it that way. He was just ticking all the things that I was wanting God,
Wow.
I was trusting God for. And I was there for almost 2 years. My contract at first was just for a year. I said, if I can set it up for a year, I will come back
Wow.
to the UK. But I couldn't leave it because the projects were not, it's really hard to work with the government of
Wow.
Myanmar, for example. So I couldn't
It's
leave. So I
amazing.
kept, and I
I
stayed
need to
there.
bring you back tomorrow. Do you know what? Oh, hold on. Joyce, Joyce,
I'm here.
there's a bit of delay. I need to bring you back, Joyce. There's a
I
bit of
can't hear anything.
there's interruption. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, okay. This testimony is too hot for Facebook to handle. This testimony is too hot for Facebook.
The
Thank you,
internet is
Grace. Thank
breaking. So
you.
if you just stop, Joyce, yes. Just hold on because there's a delay. There's a feedback and there's a delay. Just hold on. There's a feedback and there's a delay as well. Just hold on. I
Okay.
would need to bring
Okay.
you back. We've been on for over an hour. This is an hour, 30 minutes. You need to come back on Thursday. Yep. I need to bring
Okay.
you back on Thursday because this story is a story of practical kindness. Because one of the things that we're looking to derive this week is talking about what are the acts of kindness. And for me, you know, the two people that I've stood at, and that was why I brought Father Grant in. He is somebody who is rushing into where other people are running away from. And your story is something that I need for more people to listen to, because I have this very strong belief that God allows our lives to be stories to be read by other people, not just by us. So you're going, and this story you said is something that I believe more ears should hear, because there's a message for every single one that will be hearing, including me hearing you now. That's a fantastic, you are challenging me. So I need to hear you back, and we'll do that properly on Thursday. I'd like to bring you on Thursday, and then we'll talk about this. What
Of
drove you to
course.
doing it? You've mentioned a little bit about it. The various fears, how you succumbed the fears, how you overcame fears that came, and the benefit, because like you said, it's the best step you took going there. So we'd like to hear more of that. So I'm going to bring you back on Thursday, either Thursday or Friday, but then we'll talk off camera. Well, it's so nice to see you,
Okay.
babes. Really nice to see you. And you're
Thank
glowing.
you.
You're skiing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Glowing.
Nagodo. Nagodo.
I know, I know, I know, I know.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
so much.
much, guys.
I'm going to have
Okay.
to round
Bye.
up now, people. Bye-bye. Thank you. So my people, my people, my people. What can I say? Today has been so packed. It was meant to be 1 hour. I will be on for over an hour and a half. Health practitioner Nikki Thomas. I'm going to have Wale. They're both social workers, but they work social workers who work with people who have mental health issues. And we're going to look at the link between kindness and mental health. So please stay tuned. Please share this video, because I believe, especially the last bit, in fact, every single bit, I can't think of only one bit that has not been beneficial here. Is it listen to Father Grant has been fantastic. Mary shared a lot, deep stuff. She wrote something yesterday that actually threw me off. She said, kindness sometimes hurts. Kindness hurts.